What do the Plieadians say about the character named Q and how that's playing out in our political arena on Earth, and how that's affecting political characters or quote-unquote leaders, and what's going on with the Galactic Federation of Light? What are these star seeds saying about it, and who's right and who's wrong in terms of being in alignment with Source? So I just want to say, first of all, that you are a multi-dimensional being, which means that a lot of people who are on Earth right now, many of them are star seeds. However, just because they claim to be a star seed does not mean that they are truly, truly, truly in the highest light. There are many dimensions, and many of the star seeds that you're seeing videos from online really haven't truly ascended, so they really aren't connected yet to God. And therefore, a lot of the stuff that they're bringing through their channels is very distorted. And there's also a problem within that community where a lot of them are regurgitating the same lie. And we really need to work on this, guys, because it's doing a lot of damage to the Ascension portal, and we're in the final Ascension portal for Earth, and so it's time that we really get things right. Otherwise, we're running out of opportunities as a human species to align with Source. I see a lot of people who are, working with Plieadians or whatever. I am a Plieadian starseed. I have traveled to Pleiades. I remember I was a Lyran. I was in the Lyran Wars. I remember the war. My people then went into Pleiades and became part of the Plieadians because we lost Lyra in the war with the Draconians. I work directly with the Plieadians. However, I really want to reiterate that if people aren't first going to God, Source, to get their information, and they're just talking about the Galactics and this and that and the other, they're very disconnected, because your information, if it doesn't come first from Source, it can be manipulated, and it is being manipulated. And a lot of people are just jumping on the wagon of this galactic conversation. And yes, it is real. Galactics are real. Star Wars is real. This is a part of our multidimensionality. This is parts of us and our soul that exist beyond the human world. And a lot of Plieadians and Arcturians and other starseeds have taken human form to come into the Earth plane to assist humanity in what we call the Great Amente rescue mission. This is where we weren't allowed to interfere with humanity before, but it's gotten to a critical point now where Source has called in a lot of higher dimensional beings, 12-stranded angelics, to come into the Earth and assist humanity. So I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Q is working for the Plieadians and Trump is working for the Plieadians, and yada, 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 yada. Just because somebody says that does not make it true. And just because they say they work for the Plieadians does not mean that they work for Source. And so let's address this and let's break it down. And I really want you to pay attention to what I'm sharing. Of course, Source first revealed these things to me. And when I go to Source and I make a connection to the spirit world, I'm connecting first to God. And what happens is when I go to Source and I ask for information, a lot of times Source will bring in angelic beings, and those angelic beings will work with me to help me get information from the higher dimensions, because I'm connected first to Source, and Source has teams of angelics that help to help humanity and help me to be able to bring forth information for humanity. So let's talk about Q really fast. There was a group called Anonymous that has been around for decades, and Anonymous was just a group of different people all over the world who were trying to expose truth. They were using the term anonymous because they're all just anonymous people trying to share and expose dark secrets that are causing harm to humanity, and that is being done through politics and religion. Okay, that's why we need to look at politics and religion, even if we're quote-unquote 5D ascended beings, because politics and religion are what are being used on the Earth plane to enslave humanity, and the Plieadians and Galactics are here to assist with that. So yes, we do talk about politics sometimes in order to help reclaim the grids. The political arena and the religious arena are part of grid work and Earth's grids, so we need to reclaim that. Q, on the other hand, popped up after Anonymous, and Q, I've been shown, is a psyop. It is a psyop. They use a lot of the information. It is a military intel psyop, okay? It's being used to keep people in a holding pattern as opposed to you stepping into your power through connecting to source. If you really want to have galactic connections, you need to build your connection with source first. Everything is God-centered when it comes to spirituality. And so even though I am a channel for galactics, I am truly a channel for source. I've been guided very much to really focus mostly on source guided information, not so much the Plieadians or the Arcturians, even though I work with them, because those who are in the light work for source. So that is true. But there's so many out there that are copycats and frauds. I could go, one day I'm going to do a book and I'm going to share every single one of these frauds so that people can start to see you've been worshiping people who are liars and who do not connect to source, and they don't have source guidance. Now, Q is a psyop. That doesn't mean that everything Q says is wrong. It doesn't mean everything they say is right. It just means that Q itself is a military intel psyop, okay? They were watching Anonymous, they were watching what people were doing and saying, and they created a character to misguide and mislead you, okay? Now, when it comes to political leaders, I don't care whether they're left, right, or in between. Political leaders in general right now still do work for Draconians. I see a lot of stuff about Trump being a Plieadian, and I just want to say to you, I'm not going to tell you what to think. You have to think for yourself. That is part of Ascension, okay? But I am going to tell you that if you were just to look at the spiritual laws of the universe, and you were to look at the 10 Commandments that Yeshua brought through, and you were really to look at how God told us to live through all different scriptures and wise men and women throughout history. And then look at what's happening in the political arena with Trump, okay? Look at the genocide in Gaza that he funded and supported. And is that in alignment with what God really wants, okay? And if it's not, then he does not work for the light, i.e. the Plieadians or anybody else. Is it in alignment that you can go to somebody else's land and take it, like he said he was going to do to Gaza? Is it in alignment to repress the divine feminine, which there are actions being taken right now in order to do that, even in the legal arena with Trump and presidents and yada yada, these people who claim to be leaders that have hijacked our systems, okay? Is it in alignment to bully handicapped people? Is it if you just look at the character of a person and ask if they are living in the light of God, that will tell you everything you need to know. So is Trump working for the light and the Plieadians? No, he is not. And if you're following these quote unquote Galactic Federation guides and starseed ETs and yada yada yada, and they're claiming this, they're misleading you because they're misled. Okay, it doesn't matter that they say they're an alien. Many souls on Earth have alien DNA. Yes, that's part of the 12-strand structure. So when a soul goes through Ascension and activates their 12-strand DNA, or they come into Earth with 12 strands of DNA, they are operating with angelic DNA and also multidimensional ET DNA, because they have their whole multidimensional lit up, okay? Now you can have that and you can still be distorted because maybe you're working through your channel and trying to really integrate what you know from all the other worlds. But Trump is not working for the light.